It's over. We're officially, royally fucked. No empire can survive being rendered a permanent laughingstock, which is what happened as of a few weeks ago when the buffoons who have been running things in this country finally went one step too far. It happened when Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner was forced to admit that he was once again going to have to stuff billions of taxpayer dollars into a dying insurance giant called AIG, itself a profound symbol of our national decline. A corporation that got rich insuring the concrete and steel of American industry in the country's heyday, only to destroy itself, chasing phantom fortunes at the Wall Street card tables, like a dissolute nobleman gambling away the family estate in the waning days of the British Empire. The latest bailout came as AIG admitted to having just posted the largest quarterly loss in American corporate history. In the final 3 months of last year, the company lost more than $27 million every hour. That's $465,000 a minute, a yearly income for a median American household every 6 seconds, roughly $7,750 a second. And all this happened at the end of 8 straight years that America devoted to frantically chasing the shadow of a terrorist threat to no avail. 8 years spent stopping every citizen at every airport to search every purse, bag, crotch, and briefcase for juice boxes and explosive tubes of toothpaste. Yet, in the end, our government had no mechanism for searching the balance sheets of companies that held life or death power over our society and was unable to spot holes in the national economy the size of Libya, whose entire GDP last year was smaller than AIG's 2008 losses. So it's time to admit it. We're fools, protagonists in a kind of gruesome comedy about the marriage of greed and stupidity. And the worst part about it is that we're still in denial. We still think this is some kind of unfortunate accident, not something that was created by a group of psychopaths on Wall Street whom we allowed to gang rape the American dream. Well, hello, folks. It's Zach Elliott. That's the beginning of Matt Taibbi's article, The Big Takeover. His take on the bailout crisis, focusing a lot on AIG, actually, but offering some of the more colorful and illuminating descriptions of things like CDOs and CDSs, etc. He's a prick. I'll admit he's a prick, but he shares with me that he has absolutely zero respect for things that don't deserve any, even if they institutionally seem like they deserve some. And for that, at least, I admire him. That and the fact that he has a real gift with language a lot of the time. Aside from that, I thought I'd just mention, and before I get back to the conclusions of his article, today is my birthday, made at the ripe old age of 46. It was, shall we say, a non-traditional birthday. Certainly wouldn't want this to become a tradition. And so I think I'll go into the conclusion of his article. The real question from here is whether the Obama administration is going to move to bring the financial system back to a place where sanity is restored and the general public can have a say in things, or whether the new financial bureaucracy will remain obscure, secretive, and hopelessly complex. It might not bode well that Geithner, Obama's Treasury Secretary, is one of the architects of the Paulson bailouts. As chief of the New York Fed, He helped orchestrate the Goldman-friendly AIG bailout and the secretive Maiden Lane facilities used to funnel funds to the dying company. Neither did it look good when Geithner, himself a protege of notorious Goldman alum John Thane, the Merrill Lynch chief who paid out billions in bonuses after the state spent billions bailing out his firm, picked a former Goldman lobbyist named Mark Patterson to be his top aide. In fact, most of Geithner's early moves reek strongly of Paulsonism. He has continually talked about partnering with private investors to create a so-called bad bank that would systematically relieve private lenders of bad assets, the kind of massive, opaque, quasi-private, bureaucratic nightmare that Paulson specialized in. Geithner even refloated a Paulson proposal to use TALF, T-A-L-F, one of Paulson's new facilities, to essentially lend cheap money to hedge funds to invest in troubled banks while practically guaranteeing them enormous profits. God knows exactly what this does for taxpayers, but hedge fund managers sure love the idea. This is exactly what the financial system needs, said Andrew Feldstein, CEO of Blue Mountain Capital and one of the Morgan Mafia. Strangely, there aren't many people who don't run hedge funds who have expressed anything like that kind of enthusiasm for Geithner's ideas. As complex as all the finances are, the politics aren't hard to follow. By creating an urgent crisis that can only be solved by those fluent in a language too complex for ordinary people to understand, the Wall Street crowd has turned the vast majority of Americans into non-participants in their own political future. There's a reason why it used to be a crime in the Confederate States to teach a slave to read. Literacy is power. In the age of the CDS and CDO, most of us are financially literates. By making an already too complex economy even more complex, Wall Street has used the crisis to effect a historic, revolutionary change in our political system, transforming a democracy into a two-tiered state, one with plugged-in financial bureaucrats above and clueless customers below. The most galling thing about this financial crisis is that so many Wall Street types think they actually deserve not only their huge bonuses and lavish lifestyles, but the awesome political power their own mistakes have left them in possession of. When challenged, they talk about how hard they work, the 90-hour weeks, the stress, the failed marriages, the hemorrhoids and gallstones they all get before 40. But wait a minute, you say. No one ever asked you to stay up all night, 8 days a week, trying to get filthy rich, shorting what's left of the American auto industry, or selling $60 billion in toxic, irredeemable mortgages to ex-strippers on work release and Taco Bell clerks. Actually, come to think of it, why are we even giving tax money to you people? Why are we not throwing your ass in jail instead? But before you even finish saying that, they're rolling their eyes because you don't get it. These people were never about anything except turning money into money in order to get more money. Values-wise, they're on par with crack addicts or obsessive sexual deviants who burgle homes to steal panties. Yet, these are the people in whose hands our entire political future now rests. Good luck with that, America. Oh, and enjoy tax season. This is Zach Elliott at Feel Free to Argue.